What's up? What's up? What's up? YouTube, it's me. It's your boy D, and I'm back here with another one. And tonight, I'm continuing on talking about each individual group and each member of a group and their purpose. All right. And tonight, I'm here to cover Sylvester in the crew. All right. So without further ado, ain't nothing to it but to do it. So let's dive into it. What's up, YouTube? I'm back, all right? And I've been, doing this thing where I'm covering each group and each member of each group just because it's easier. Because if I try to go through each individual character one by one, I'd be sitting here forever. So that's why we kind of disperse them into different groups. And continuing on with this, now just like with the last video I did with Daffy Duck and the crew, okay? This particular group is not a gang. It's not even a team or group or nothing like that. It's just like the last one, a collection of individual characters that we just kind of randomly put together, and that they're just always together. So they're kind of a little gang of their own, all right? And that's pretty much what this is. This one is a little bit more unique though, because basically it's only 4 characters, and the reason for that being is because Josh just drew a picture one day of the South Park characters coming into the universe, into the franchise. Crazy, right? Because I get a lot of my inspiration from the show, from South Park and Family Guy and them types of shows. So Josh drew a picture. We wanted to add those characters into the franchise, and even though when we did, we didn't do much with them. They're still there. So Josh drew a picture one day of the 4 South Park kids, Cartman, Stan, Kenny, and Kyle, arriving. And for whatever reason, behind them, he just decided to draw 4 random other characters that he just knew how to draw that I wasn't aware of yet. And those 4 characters are the people that we're going to talk about here in this YouTube video. And once that picture was drawn, because I believe that's like the only picture he ever drew of them all. But once that picture was drawn, those 4 characters were pretty much connected together at the hip, basically, all right? So now I done rambled on enough about the introduction, all right? Let's not waste no time, all right? Let's go ahead and get to the first character, all right?
Sylvester.
Now, Sylvester the cat from Looney Tunes, all right? Now, the first member of this group, basically, is Sylvester, all right? He goes by the nickname Sly, like Sylvester Stallone. And his pretty much purpose or role within this group is he's pretty much like Daffy Duck, the de facto leader of the group. And I only came up with that decision because, he's probably, out of the 4 of them, probably the most recognizable one. His personality, blah, 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 is basically just another street gangster, all right? He's one of them. He goes by Sly because he's real smooth about the way he does things. Like, if he gonna rob you, he gonna be smooth about it, but he gonna rob you, all right? But he got a temper too, Sylvester's Sylvester, so he got a temper, and he's the one that makes the decisions for them the most of the time. He's the one that, I don't want to say call the shots, but decides what they're gonna do or whatever. So he's just a de facto leader, even though there is no real leader because this ain't really a gang. But he's just one of the major random street thugs, in the area. They fuck with Daffy and them. Like, Sylvester and Daffy obviously come from the same universe, so they cool. But Sylvester does his thing with his crew, and Daffy does his thing with his crew. And with that being said, that's pretty much Sylvester. I didn't write anything, surrounding him individually. I didn't really write any episodes for him. None of these characters really have a whole lot of dialogue, but they are present in certain episodes, and obviously they're on the drawing, so they exist in the universe, all right? But with that being said, that's Sylvester, all right? So let's move on to the next character.
Kirby.
Kirby. Man, all right. Now, Kirby. Now Kirby's role within this little group is he's obviously another one of the street gangsters. He's kind of like the heavy. He's kind of like the muscle. Since he's the biggest, he's kind of like the muscle, and he's the no nonsense one pretty much of them. Like, if you trying to get some work from him or some product, if you walking around, like if you nervous and acting like you 12 or something like that, he gonna call you out like, bro, go on, get up out my face, bro. Go on somewhere. I ain't got time for you. You know what I'm saying? That's Kirby. They call him Curb. His nickname's Curb. And again, he's one of those ones I didn't really write no dialogue for or focus episodes solely around him, but he's a part of that squad. He's the heavy. He probably would be the number 2. If they were a group and Sylvester was gone, Kirby would probably be the number 1 guy, all right? And and that's pretty much it, man. Like, this is gonna be a short video because I didn't write much for these characters and there's only 4 of them. So, but yeah, that's pretty much Kirby in a nutshell. Not too much to say. He's the heavy, he's the no nonsense, dope dealer. And if you want some work from him, make sure you come correct, or he gonna either kill you or see your way out the door, all right? And so with that being said, that is Kirby, all right? So let's move on to the next character, all right?
Pac-Man.
All right, Pac-Man. All right, Mr. Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, whatever you want to call him, all right? So, Pac-Man's purpose or role within this group is, again, he's another one of the street gangsters like the other 2. But Pac-Man is more so the one that got that work in the group. You notice how in each one of these groups there's somebody that got that work or got the product or whatever. Curb got it, but Pac-Man is really the one that got it. And on top of that, Pac-Man is like the wild child of the 4 of them. Pac-Man is the one that's just ready to get, just bout it. He bout it. He ready to get it, get at somebody, whatever the case may be. His most famous product he sells is obviously the white pellets, because that's that work for him. And he's also the funny one of the group too, you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much Pac. Again, not any episodes actually written solely around him. Not a whole lot of dialogue, but he's there, all right? And he's just one of the street gangsters that got that work, and his famous product is that pellet, that white pellet, all right? That's his work, all right? And so with that being said, that's Pac-Man, all right? So you see how quick this is going, right? So now let's move on to the final character, all right?
Hefty Smurf.
Hefty Smurf, the last and final member of this little group. Now, out of all the group members, he's the oddball, because I know people are like, why the hell is a Smurf with them, right? He's the one out of the group that's the most unique because he's not really a gangster. I didn't make him a gangster or not like that. So why he is even allowed to hang with them, it's kind of a mystery to me. He's just kind of, Josh drew him on the picture, so he's their friend, whether they really fuck with him or not, right? But I gave him a bit of a different personality than the other 3, Because, see, Hefty Smurf was the one that I really wasn't doing anything with. No dialogue, nothing. I just didn't have nothing for him to do with him, I didn't want to make him a gangster, so I just happened to be watching throwback episodes of WWE, WWF, Monday Night Raw, back then. And I was watching in the year 1997, I was binge watching the Attitude Era, basically, the greatest era in the history of sports, wrestling sports, basically. And it was late 97 that I was watching, and there's a manager, a legendary manager named Jim Cornette, one of the greatest managers of all time and one of my all-time favorite wrestling managers. Well, around that time, Jim Cornette was on and off of TV sparingly. So around this time, Raw, whenever they would go to a commercial, Jim Cornette started doing these segments. When they would go to a commercial, you see Jim Cornette in front of just in front of a camera talking and giving his opinions about how he felt about the wrestling business, certain superstars and things of that nature. And he would always end with, "I'm Jim Cornette, and that's my opinion." And I like that. because it was real. He was shooting, and what shooting means in wrestling terms is it was real. It was his real life opinions. He was basically breaking down the fourth wall. So me watching that gave me the idea, because I wasn't doing nothing with Hefty Smurf. So me watching that gave me this idea to create this personality for Hefty Smurf. And what happened was he became, because Jim Cornette came across as disgruntled. So I made Hefty Smurf basically this disgruntled public speaker. And what would happen is sometimes when our franchise, if it was real, would go on a commercial, you see a segment from Hefty Smurf. And what he would be doing is basically breaking down the fourth wall, talking to you all, the audience, dishing out his grievances about the fact that he doesn't get a lot of screen time or any dialogue. And characters like Mario and Luigi and Bart, you know, and Shaggy and all these other people are getting his screen time and he ain't getting it. You know what I'm saying? What's so bad about me? You know, so he would say stuff like that. And he would always end it with, I'm Hefty Smurf, that's my opinion. And that's not really anything written in the episode, it's just like a side segment, you know what I'm saying? But within the episode, the guys that he hangs with would be annoyed with him, would just let him hang around, you know? And that's pretty much Hefty Smurf. His main, like, his prominent role is that public speaker that's disgruntled and bitter and angry that he doesn't get a lot of screen time, all right? And that's pretty much it for that little tandem, that little group, all right? Wasn't too much to say, all right? So once again, if you like these and you enjoy these, please hit that like button, leave your comments down below, subscribe, and as always, don't ever hesitate to dive into it with D, all right?